public. There is no ready market in public. So if I want to increase the business, I have to market the software manager. Thereby my customer is going to get a business and in turn he is going to give me a business. So this is an activity in relation to business. You have to give me the credit. High Court told right argument, take the credit. After that after 2 months there was a budget. In budget they made an amendment saying that the activity related to business such as shall be deleted with immediate effect. So now under the GST is going back to the original glory where it says any activity related to business will be eligible for a credit. Today you are not able to take a expenses spent on CSR activity. It says how the CSR is used in your manufacturing. Anything which you are giving it to your employee quarters is there. You maintain employee quarters. He is saying this has no nexus with your manufacturing. Today under the GST, you have to prove all these things as a nexus with your business. If you are not doing that mandatory CSR activity, then you are making a violation under the Companies Act. Not to make a violation, that is a mandatory expenses for me. Thereby, this is my business expenditure. You should be giving me the credit. So my credit base is going to be increased under the GST, which will also be looked at, I think, tomorrow. IT is allowable only to the extent of business, and wherever you are making a taxable and non-taxable supplies, you know this concept of Rule 6 which is there in the present Central Excise Service Tax? So what is this Rule 6? It says you are taking, we have to take, we are taking certain input services on which I have paid excise duty or service tax. Using this input services or inputs, you have manufactured both dutiable goods and exempted goods. On exempted, you are not paying me excise duty. So why I should give you the excise duty on the inputs? So I am restricting these inputs to the extent what it has been used for your exempted. That is the simple concept of Rule 6. There are 3 options available to you. You can go by these 3 particular options. The same concept is there in the GST as well. Now you tell me, anybody has verbatim read that Rule 6 here? You have read? So did you feel that there was some complication? Rule 6, so many complication. That complication is becoming twice or thrice under GST. He has given a very, very complicated formula, T1, T2, T3, T4, C1, C2. You have to identify the tax on each line item wise, invoice wise, when you are filing with a return, whether it is T1, T2, T3. Thereby you have to apply the formula on each line item wise basis, which you should be knowing on the day 1. So this concept, there is always one thing which is coming from the trade. I don't know how many of you have already experienced this. What they are saying is, sir, yesterday tally people came and gave a presentation, clear tax people came and gave a presentation, so and so gave a presentation. They are saying you don't require any chartered accountant, you take our GSP Suvidha provider software, automatically your returns gets filed. What that software knows whether it is T1, T2, T3, T4. How it can happen? It is impossible. Professional efforts is 100% required. All the software service provider are misrepresenting and selling. Only when they start uploading their first returns, they will not take you on rolls. They will say not required, I have taken cleartax.com, I have not taken you. I am going to file my returns. When they start uploading their first returns, they will get to know what is the professional help which is been required. It is not going to happen. In India, no complaints can happen, click of a button, sir. Very sorry. There is a requirement of professional efforts, and ITC is one of the area where at least putting the initial system is very, very important. Taking the credit you can take earlier, not more than September of the next financial year. That is the outer limit for you to take the credit. So April to March, September of the next financial year is the outer limit for you to take the credit. Then the returns has to be furnished and all those things are there. So with this, we'll just break for tea for how many minutes? 10-15 minutes and we'll reassemble that. Thank you.
Like food grains, pulses, etc. could be coming under 5% rate. The third rate is the merit goods. Presently you are declared goods under CST, which is going to be under 12% rate. Next is the 18% rate, which is a standard rate. 80% of the products or 90% of the product is going to come under 18% regime. Then the other rate is going to be 28%, which is the luxurious products and sin goods. Only these things are going to come under 28% rate. So these are 5%. So when I say this 5, 12, 18, 28, I am not saying 5 plus 5, 12 plus 12. 5 is 2.5 plus 2.5 or 6 plus 6. Is it going to be the same 6 plus 6 equal, or state going to get more, center going to get less? As of now the statements are it is going to be equal. Initially they told center is going to get less, state is going to get more. When they signed off this compensation bill, now they are saying it is going to be same, and if there is a loss, we are anyway there to compensate as a center. So this is what the broad thing. Now the other question which comes up in the rate is that for a services also, will there be a differential rate, or all services will be there under the same rate? There could be a differences. A chartered accountant may be paying a service tax at a different rate. A transporter may be paying it at a different rate. Maybe a restaurant may be paying at a different rate. So differential rates for the services is also possible. So now which service, which rate, which goods, which rate is the second question, like AC was saying, other than why did Katappa kill Bahubali, this is the second one, what is the rate? So which, there is one of the newspaper cutting, somebody had forwarded me, I think it was forwarded, where they say that we will not give you rate up to 1st of July. And 1st of July you have to go for implementation. It is impossible for them not to give the rate. They have to give the rate. Even today, if 1st of July, if we want to go live, rate not announcing today is having a huge implication for few industries. I'll tell you one simple industry where an MRP is affixed. Take a soap is there. Today, a soap may be, it may be a higher rate of VAT, but I'm just taking as an example. It may be having a VAT rate of only 5%. 5% is the margin for a retailer. So if 100 rupees is the MRP, his purchasing cost is 90 rupees. Because he gets 5 rupees as his commission or whatever the margin, and 5 rupees he pays the taxes. MRP is 100. Now, if he says you have to pay 18% on this, and he doesn't have an excise credit benefit which is possible for him, can he sell more than MRP? No. 100 rupees he has to sell, he has to pay 18 rupees VAT or 12 rupees VAT. So where is his margin? What he has to do? He has to send this stock back to a manufacturer, so that manufacturer is going to repack it and give it back with the fresh MRP. Do we have sufficient time? Because this activity I don't know unless until the rate is going to come. Can I start this today? Answer is no. Lot of my clients are asking, can I call back the stock? Can I call back the stock? I'm saying wait. Because calling back stock has a huge cost involved. And if there is actually no benefit of calling it back, rate is not there, I unnecessarily spending extra cost. But if he says, I'll give you in mid of June, go live on 1st of July, I don't have time to call back and redo. So these are all the practical problems which is there, which is surrounding about the rates. And I will not go with that rumor that the rates will be announced only 1st of July. 1st of July will be effective date. I am not going by that rumor. They are going to announce it early. How much early, I don't know. One of the expectation date now is 17-18, the rates will be out of the May. Because we have a council meeting which is happening in Jammu and Kashmir, whatever, Srinagar maybe. There are happening a meeting which is happening of the council. Now in this council, whether they will be able to come to consensus on the rate. Like one product I will take. In this, our state, we are taxing rice. VAT is applicable on rice. Tamil Nadu will not at all charge for rice. Where is the question of VAT on rice? And if they are forced to put 5% on the rice, will Tamil Nadu will accept? Because there is a vote bank for them when it comes to rate. If they make it exempt, what is the loss for the Telangana government? 5%, the compensation bill is there, na? That is only for 5 years. After that, because this is a huge trade. Year on year I am getting a revenue. Why will I compromise? Now, who is going to compromise in this item? Like this, there are many items which is there. All these things has to be compromised and has to come to a consensus in the meeting on 18th and 19th. Then we have a rate on 18th and 19th. If by chance they are not able to do, then again it will get deferred to June 1st week. The another important question which has been asked is 1st July whether GST is going to come. Wherever I go, wherever I meet people, everybody asking the same question. Sir, 1st July vachestada, 1st July aajata kya? It's a very, very common question which has been asked. Unfortunately, everybody are asking me, but neither me or Jetli can tell this answer. Yeah, we don't know. Because all the states have to pass their SGST acts, which is very, very important. But central government is very, very confident that everybody are going to pass the acts because they are in frequent touch with these people. And act is not taking any time. Telangana, it just passed like this. Yeah. And the few provisions which is there, it's not at all relevant that it should be in Telangana SGST Act. It is something to do with the Central Government Act. That also has been incorporated in this and passed. So that is how the state tax has been getting passed. So I am not seeing much challenge there. The another question comes up is what happens to West Bengal and Delhi? Whether they are going to do or not. So as of now, what news we have got is no. Whenever they are sitting in the council meeting, there is no objection. It's all outside political drama. They are also in because they get more revenue in GST. So they are also in for the GST. The other question which comes of implementation is that IT network. That old Infosys is not ready with the network and all those things. So GST cannot come from 1st of July. The Infosys or whatever GSTN has already given a report. They have already done their testing in GSTR 1, 2. The ramification of it. They have identified few assessees. They have taken their data of the assessee and asked the assessee to punch in the data. So they are like doing a virtual filing of the returns for the current April month data. They are doing the VAT, GST compliance. And they are testing whether the things are working or not. So this is also there in the advanced level. So I think the technology also would be in place by 1st of July. Considering all these things, considering the dareness of the government, 1st of July cannot be ruled out. Please don't advise your client or please don't you defer it. You be ready for 1st of July. By chance you get a deferment, you get it. But don't go under a presumption that there is going to be a deferment. A government which can do demonetization can do anything. So that you should keep in mind whenever you are making this expectation. Okay. Today, all official statement, Revenue Secretary, Finance Ministry, everybody are keep on telling 1st July, 1st July, 1st July. So this you have to keep in mind when for your preparedness. Next, I get into the next important concept of supply. If it is a supply, you pay GST. If it is not supply, you will not pay GST. So it is very important. It is also part of the levy, which is my this post-T session. This is a levy. So this is a part of that only. Supply has been defined into multiple pockets. First is a supply of goods or service for a consideration in the course of furtherance of a business or commerce. My next schedule gives you what is that items which has been covered. So for this, there should be a consideration. It should be in furtherance of business or commerce. Then you have an import of service, whether or not for a business. This is the second part of supply. So what is this? It says I am importing a service which is not for my business purpose. Then also I have to pay GST on that. Say I have a Facebook account. I pay some $199, go into some premium account. Nothing to do with my business. I connect only my friends through social networking. I have to still take a registration and pay, but they are telling that I am going to give you some exemption. What is that exemption? We have to wait for the exemption notification. The other bucket is a supply without a consideration also will become a supply. We should look at it. That I will take you through. There is another schedule which is a deemed service and deemed supply. Whether or not it is a service or a supply, I don't mind, but I treat this as a supply for the purpose of charging the GST. There are certain exclusions also within neither supply of goods or services. We'll look into it. The first and foremost thing is that it has not been highlighted here, but it says, very dangerous way of doing it, it says supply includes, whatever I have told here na, in this schedule, it starts with supply includes these bullets. Very dangerous way of defining the things. Why? Because we all put together, we use our brains and tell a particular transaction is not coming under any of these bullets. He will say, Are Baba, please see, I told supply includes this. I did not tell supply means only this. It's an indicative, not exhaustive. Supply means something else. In addition to something else, these are also included. Oh, okay. Sir, you told supply means something else. No, sir. What is that something else? That I will not tell. Why I will not tell? If I tell that, I am putting a boundary against myself, or I don't know. I want to tax unlimited. I am putting a boundary against myself. So that is the way, not a new approach. Central excise we are paying for donkey's years now. Still manufacturing includes only is there. It doesn't say manufacturing means. Supreme Court intervened after 15 years of introduction of GST and they told this is the meaning of manufacture, you follow this. Today we follow the meaning of manufacturing which has been given by Supreme Court. So same approach is there, but the only difference between central excise and GST is in central excise what you are given is not exhaustive. Here it is inclusion itself is exhaustive. I don't see any transaction which is coming out from this indicative list. It is very, very exhaustively created. The first one is any forms of supply which is listed here. Sale, transfer, barter, exchange, license, rental, lease, disposal, anything happening for a consideration. That could be a supply of goods or supply of service. Another important thing many of the people are asking is, why are they using a term supply of service? What is the implication? Because earlier under service tax, today under service tax, we are using provision of service. Is there a difference between a supply of service and a provision of a service? Very important, which you have to understand from the levy point of view. I am providing a service, only my service is going to come. So one of the example which we are looking at from an automobile dealer point of view, what does automobile dealer says? He takes the services of an insurance company or something and he passes through as a part of a vehicle. Now who is the service provider? The insurance company. The automobile dealer becomes supplier of a service of insurance company. That is the wide meaning of supply of service which has been used, where I need not be a service provider, somebody else could be a service provider, but the moment that routes through me, it can be called I am a supplier of service. So here again we are recommending all our clients that wherever there is a group company, there is always a tendency that money is there in one company, he makes an on-behalf payment for other expenses. Now department will come and say, because you have paid, the payment is routed through you, why I can't say that supply of third-party vendor has been supplied by you? There could be a possibility. So on behalf payments, whatever the companies are used to, better not to do. Let it be an extra RTGS, let it come as a loan to the other company and let them make a payment so that unnecessary confusion is not there. Finally, we may try and prove and come out of it, but why should we get into this litigation? So this is the supply when it comes to a service which is broad enough. Today, for this joint development agreement and all, service tax demands are there. Are there VAT demands? No. Why? Because exchange is not a sale. There are certain decisions which says exchange, barter, exchange and all will be not part of the VAT levy. But here he is specifically mentioning exchange and barter. Specifically been given. So thereby the supply scope is enhanced and is covering everything, which you have to be clear. Then these are the other schedule which I told. Yeah. Not much. Disposal may be coming as a scrap. Yeah, disposal you dispose of and you say whatever you want to pay, you pay, that's all. Maybe, I'm not very sure. He has used all wide terminology. That way, what is the difference between an exchange and a barter? There also, it's all thin line of difference. The approach is that nobody should be left. If he is not writing disposal, tomorrow you say it's not a disposal, it is not a sale, it is disposal, then you should not be giving out. So even there is a thin line of difference, he has written everything. So unless until we are able to save somebody, we need not go into depth of it. Because if it is not a sale, it becomes disposal. If not a disposal, it becomes sale. So to that extent, we are not going in depth of it. So next one is, this is a schedule, even you don't get paid for it, you have to pay GST. So this is very important aspect. One is permanent transfer or disposal of business asset where you have taken a ITC credit, where an input tax credit has been taken. So this is one important aspect which has been there. To give an example, I have a laptop. This laptop is there. I purchased from a store. He charged me GST. I am using it for my office purpose. I took a credit. And I am that person, like I want everything latest. I am crazy for that. So now I bought this laptop. After 9 months, there is a new model. I think nowadays 9 months is also a bigger period, I think. I don't know. For getting a new model. Then I said, no, I want the latest model. Now, isme maza chala gaya. Then I say, I'll exchange this. He says, okay, sir, no problem. I'll take an exchange. I'll give you only 5,000 rupees for the old one. When I have purchased it for 60,000 rupees. You are giving me only 5,000. I don't want your 5,000. I'll pay the entire amount. You give me the new laptop. Now there is a spare laptop which is laying. I get some innovative, good thought in my mind. I go to a nearest government school or a charitable organization and give this laptop free of cost for them for their lab. I donate it, give to a charity. On this also I have to pay GST. Why? When I purchased, I have taken a ITC credit. If I had not taken ITC credit, when I give it as a donation, I don't get paid for it, I need not pay. Consideration is not there. You have to go to the valuation. In the valuation, they say open market value. So now what I have to do, I have to go to an open market value. I have to go to OLX.com and search this model, who is selling for what rate. And you will identify, I am the only mad person who is selling at 6 months. Nobody is selling in India. You don't have a open market value for this product. Then you take a comparative. You have taken Mac Air 13 inches, which is the nearest comparative. Go to that and take that as a valuation. That is also not available. Mac Air is Mac Air, no comparative for it. Then he says, whatever if it is a manufactured product, cost of production plus 10%, or even if it is traded, cost of provision plus 10%. If it is asset and all, like my example was an asset. For asset, there is a depreciation formula, 5%, which Deepak will be telling you tomorrow when he deals about ITC, where a reversal requirement has been there. So that is about the valuation. This is on the levy which I have been talking about. When I tell this laptop example, you may feel that it is one of such cases, okay, not maybe relevant for the business. But I just took this as an example to tell what extent the law can go. But there are a lot of practical difficulties which is coming. Say, take an example of a sale of car. Today, car has been sold at 10 lakh rupees. He says toolkit is